Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia, as you probably know, and this is my brother.
Hi.
Timo. And we're currently in Munich, in my hometown. And as you can see, it's pretty cold. It's January. There's snow on the ground. And this is my 200,000 subscribers special. So thank you guys so much for 200,000 subscribers. 200,000 subscribers. I haven't really spoken English in a while. I've been in Germany for, I don't even know, I think almost 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty much just been German. So we'll see how it goes today. But I thought as a 200,000 subscriber special, I would do the same thing that I did for my 100,000 subscriber special. If you haven't checked that one out yet, you can do that. Link is somewhere up here and also in the description box below. I did a Cincinnati tour and also a Q&A. So it was like a Q&A Cincinnati tour vlog. And I'm going to do the same thing today, just with Munich. So we're going to go through Munich. We're going to show you cool places here in Munich. And at the same time, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions that you guys asked me on Instagram and also in the YouTube community tab. And Timo will be my assistant, and he will be picking the questions and asking me what you guys want to know from me. So currently we're at the first stop. It's the Schloss Nymphenburg Palace. So it's a palace that's pretty much in the middle of Munich. So it's in Munich city. It's not like outside of the city. You can see the palace in the background somewhere there probably. Probably looks a little bit small, but we're gonna get closer in a second. And there's a huge park here too. You can check it out. Everyone's going for a walk right now because Germans love walking. But here's the park. Okay, so what's the first question, Timo?
So, when did you first feel completely fluent in English, and how long did it take you to become fluent? Love your videos.
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. Not sure, because I think it's a progress. It's not really a point that you can remember, or at least for me, that's not how it was, that I could remember, okay, now, today's the day that I feel fluent in English. I don't even know if I would say that I'm fluent now, that I feel fluent. Like, there's always words and there's always phrases that I don't understand. And I constantly look up words still to this day. So
for me, you're fluent.
Thanks. But I mean, probably a few months into my exchange semester back in 2016. So in 2016, I went to the US for an exchange semester, and my English was already pretty good, but it took me a while to get used to speaking English on a daily basis. But I think after a few weeks, and I would say like a couple of months, I was definitely used to it, and I was able to express everything I wanted to say in that language. Sometimes, even to this day, I don't know a word, but then I just describe it in a different way, or I look up the word that I need. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, one in German. Wie kommst du mit den amerikanischen Einheiten, zum Beispiel Fuß und Jahr, zurecht? Rechnest du sie oft in Deutsche
Okay, so the question is, how do I handle the American measurement units? And do I still convert them into German ones or European ones, so the metric system? And my answer is, I don't really need to do that a whole lot. It's not like I need measurement units every single day. And also for me personally, I don't really know how long a kilometer is anyway. So like, I don't know how long a mile is either, but I don't know the other one either. So it doesn't really make a difference to me. With temperatures, I got kind of used to like the Fahrenheit system in a way that I know, like, I want my AC set to 70. I know it's really warm when it's like in the 80s, and it's really warm when it's in the 90s, the temperature. That's kind of what I know. I know that it's freezing when it's 32 Fahrenheit. And I know about height. So like, I know that I'm 5'4". I know that someone's really tall when they're 6 foot. So yeah, I don't really need to convert that anymore. So, and with other things, I just don't need it.
Gallons?
I know how big like a 1 gallon container of milk is. So I know I have that as like a point of reference. But yeah, I don't really convert those. Nope.
What language do you use when you talk to your cat? Is your cat American or German? Do you take it with you when you travel?
Ooh, okay, so my cat's American. Okay, well, I have two cats. I have one cat in Germany. She's German, of course. But the cat that I have that you probably mean, that I show my Instagram stories and stuff, she's American. She was born in Cincinnati. And I raised her bilingually, so she's fluent in both languages. I think I mostly speak German to her just because I'm just used to like doing these, little things in German, like I don't really have that baby language down in English as well as I do in German. You know, like, oh, Spazi, komm her, put, put, put. So I speak German to her mostly, and no, I do not take her with me when I travel, because that would just be a lot of stress for the cat, and there's no point. Like, she stays at the house with my roommates, or I have friends take care of her, and yeah, that way she probably misses me and she's confused why I'm gone, but it's not as much stress as putting her on a plane and then putting her in a whole new environment and then traveling back the whole way again. So that would just be cruel, I think.
What word in English do you have the hardest time trying to say or even spell, or both?
Ooh, okay. Trying to say, I think the word narrator is tricky for me sometimes, and I don't really know why. Narrator. Yeah. Squirrel I can say easily, and people usually think that that's hard to say for us.
Yeah.
Can you say it?
Squirrel?
Squirrel? I mean, yeah, you struggle a little bit more, but
yeah,
you're not doing terribly, so I can say squirrel. I think to spell, it's the word necessary or necessarily. I never know how to spell that. Never. Okay, so we're heading back. We're gonna show you the pond with the swans. That's really beautiful. And also, here is the view on the palace. Okay, so we're at the pond now with all the swans. Hopefully they're not gonna attack us. And the canal goes all the way back there up until where the street starts again. So it's a really, really big property. Obviously, it's a palace. So yeah, it's beautiful here. What's the next question?
Kind of a weird question for a German.
Yeah?
Are inside and outside clothes hard word for a German?
True.
A real thing.
Yeah?
Inside and outside
Yes?
clothes.
That's a weird question. Is that not a real thing for Americans? I mean, yeah, I know that a lot of Americans are crazy and leave the house in shorts even when it's freezing outside, when it's, you know, negative degrees in Celsius and below 32 degrees in Fahrenheit. I've seen people walk around in shorts and flip-flops at like -7 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna put how much that is in Fahrenheit, but insane. So I guess for Americans, that's not always the case, but for Germans, yes. I mean, I'm not gonna hang around the house in these clothes, so not in this outfit at least, not with this coat and everything. So yeah, it's a thing.
Would agree.
It's definitely a thing. We also have cool words in German like Übergangsjacke, or gibt's sowas wie Allwetterjacke oder sowas?
Yeah.
Allzweckjacke.
Zwiebellook.
Zwiebellook, okay. So yeah, we have words like transitional coat or jacket, or Zwiebellook, onion look. So when you layer up, because you know that the weather is going to change throughout the day, and you want to be able to either put more clothes on or take clothes off. And all-purpose clothing is also a thing. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to head to the next spot.
Is Bavaria the Texas of Germany?
Yes, I'd say so. I mean, it's a little difficult to answer that because obviously Bavaria and Texas are very different. But Bavaria does have the reputation of, like being a special state within Germany. So just as a background information, Bavaria is one of 16 states in Germany. And yeah, a lot of people who don't live in Bavaria hate on Bavaria, and a lot of Bavarians think in a way that there's something better. There's a thing like Bavarian arrogance, I would say. So in that sense, probably you can say it's the Texas of Germany, but we're not as extreme as many Texans?
Texanians? I don't know.
But we're not as extreme as many people from Texas are, I would say. Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe if you have an opinion on that, if you're German, put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna go to the next spot now. So we're now in the Olympic Park, I think, on the Olympia Hill, Olympiaberg. We're not on the very top, but we're almost at the very top. And you can see the city a little bit in the background. And then you can see the park behind me. It's a really cool spot in Munich because it's a very, very big park with some really cool architecture and a bunch of, venues and stadiums, like the big Olympic Stadium, a very, very big venue here. There's ice skating here, there's swimming here. A lot of people come here to go on a run, to go on a bike ride. There's a lake, as you could see. And back there's the BMW Tower. And right now, a lot of people are on this hill actually with their sleds and also to ski. Just, not real skiing, just, practicing a little bit. And it's really, really cold and windy. So excuse us if we're looking a little like we're suffering. Next question.
Okay. One more in German. Wo schmeckt das Essen besser? Hier in Bayern oder in den Staaten?
So where does the food taste better? Here in Bavaria or in the States? So overall, I wouldn't say it tastes better in Bavaria than it does in the States, but I would say food does taste better in Europe in general than it does in the States. That's just my personal opinion. Just food in general is better. There's just better cuisines here. I mean, there's a lot of great food in the States, of course, especially Mexican food. Of course, there's amazing burgers, there's amazing fries, grilled cheese sandwiches, pancakes, milkshakes. That's all stuff, like the typical American stuff, is definitely better in the States than it is here. But overall, I would say you can go to almost any restaurant in Germany or in Europe and you'll find some really good food, in my opinion, in my experience.
Yes.
So yeah, that's just me. But I wouldn't say it's specifically Bavaria.
Being from Munich, you must be Catholic.
I'm not. You're right. Munich and Bavaria in general are traditionally Catholic areas and regions in Germany. And many people here are Catholic, like many of our friends are. But overall, not a lot of Germans, especially our age, are actually religious anymore. I mean, some are still members of the state church, which we have here in Germany, but have never really been to church or only for Christmas. But also a lot of people are not even a member of the church anymore nowadays. And I think most of our friends, most of the people that we know our age are not actively religious, and neither are we. I'm not religious, he's not religious. Yeah. We're not even baptized. So yeah, I'm not.
Was war dein erstes Auto in Deutschland und was war dein erstes in den Staaten?
Okay, what was my first car in Germany and what was my first car in the States? Well, technically, we did have a car in Germany, but it was my grandma's car, and when she died, we inherited it. So it's not like a car that I bought myself, but it was a Mercedes A-Class. And the first car that I ever bought myself was in the States, and that's the car that I still drive to this day. I mean, I only bought it a year and a half ago, and it's a Toyota Matrix 2007. So I'm not a car person, all I need is a car that works, that gets me from A to B. I'm not a person that needs anything fancy.
How is work culture different in Germany than in the US?
I'm probably not the right person to ask this because I never worked a full-time job in the US actually. I did an internship, but I never worked, a regular full-time job in a company. So if you want to know, you should probably check out the podcast episode of the Understanding Train Station podcast that Josh and I host together, because in one episode we had our friend Niklas there, and he worked in both countries. He's actually a CEO in Cincinnati, and he talked a lot about that and shared a lot of his experiences. I'll link it up here and in the description box below. Okay, so we're in the city center now, and we're gonna go through a lot of important spots in Munich, in downtown Munich. You can't really say downtown because it's not really like a traditional American downtown. We usually just call it city center, Innenstadt. And right now we're at the Königsplatz, so we have this building behind me right here, and then there's another one, like an arch in the middle there. And what's the next question?
Okay, two-part question.
Yeah.
Are Germans obsessed with made in Germany the same way Americans can be about made in USA stuff?
Huh. What's the second part?
A lot of Americans like German-made products. How do Germans feel about American-made items?
I'm not actually sure. I would say that Germans definitely think that if something was made in Germany, that stands for quality. But I don't know a lot of Germans that go through the store and then look at products and are like, oh, was this made in Germany? Was this made in Germany? And if it's not made in Germany, they don't buy it. So I think a lot of Germans trust German brands, German companies,
yes,
especially with electronics and stuff like that, cars, of course.
But with American stuff too.
Yeah, with American stuff too, yeah. I wouldn't say we're obsessed with it. I would say we trust the Made in Germany label, and I would say we also trust a Made in USA label. Yeah. But if you're German and if you disagree with me, then let me know in the comments below, because I hadn't really thought about this before.
Maybe cars.
Yeah, cars for sure. Like German cars is something that Germans rely on a lot.
Yeah, the most, I would
yes.
say.
Yeah. So we're in the pedestrian area now. This is where the pedestrian area starts. We're at Karlsplatz. Stachus is also what Munich locals call it. Yeah. And this behind us is the Karlstor, the Karls Arch, I think is what you would call it. Or what's like or gate, I guess, maybe Karl's Gate. And this is one of the city gates of the original Munich city, what it used to be back in the day. This is a very, very important square usually, but right now with COVID and the lockdown, there's not a whole lot going on in the pedestrian area right now. Usually there's like a fountain right behind me. The fountain's on in the summer. And then there's also a McDonald's right behind me. And this is actually a very important McDonald's here, because this is the McDonald's with the most revenue in either all Europe or in the entire world. I'm not quite sure which one of the two, but I'm gonna look it up and put it on the screen. But it makes a lot of money, and I think this has mostly to do with its perfect location, because this is a very central location in Munich. And almost all public transportation lines have a stop here. So like, you know, the streetcar, the bus, the suburban train, the subway and everything. So especially at night, usually, not right now, but when a nightlife is a thing, there's a lot of bars and clubs around here, and a lot of people who try to get home with public transportation, which is what most people take, they have to stop here at some point, and then they go to McDonald's for their late night snack. So if you're here in the middle of the night at like 4 or 5 a.m., it's really, really crowded at McDonald's, and you'll have to be in line forever. Also, we have to wear a mask here in the pedestrian area, so yeah, that's why we're wearing the masks. I hope you can still hear me okay. And we're gonna go to Marienplatz, which is one of the main squares in Munich. Actually, we made a few stops before we arrived at Marienplatz. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys everything we filmed that day, but be sure to watch out for a part 2 video where I'll release all the extra footage and questions that didn't make it into this video. This, of course, is an FC Bayern store, FC Bayern Munich, our soccer club. By the way, Munich in German is pronounced München. So if you have watched any of my videos before or watched any of my Q&A sessions on Instagram or something, you probably know that my favorite beer is Augustiner, which is a Munich lager, so it's a Munich brewery. It's my favorite German beer, my favorite American beer, my favorite Munich beer, my favorite beer in general. So I know a lot of you guys asked me that too. And also I know a lot of guys asked if I like craft beers, and no I don't. I'm not really a big craft beer person. I really just mostly enjoy simple, plain beers. Lagers is just all I need. And yeah, this behind me is the Augustiner Bierhalle. So this is one of the many restaurants or beer halls that the brewery has in Munich. So it's in the middle of the pedestrian area. Is the most important church in Munich. It's the Frauenkirche. So it's the women's church, literally. I think what it's called in English is the Cathedral of the Dear Lady. Yeah, that's I think what it's called. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so quick story about this. I have to be quiet because we're in a church, but this is a story or a legend that I think most Munich people learn in elementary school. And the legend says that this footprint, this footstep, is actually from the devil, because when they finished the church, he was so angry about it that he was inside of here and the cement wasn't dry yet. And so he was here and he stamped or stumped or whatever the word is and left this footprint. So yeah, it's a very famous footprint, but probably in reality, it was just one of the construction workers. on Marienplatz, Marien Square, which is probably the most important square in Munich. This is the city hall right behind us, so the Munich Rathaus. A lot of people find it hard to believe that this building is our city hall, but people actually work inside of there. This is what it looks like around here. And you're gonna give me some more questions.
Yeah, very important question.
Okay.
What's your favorite Milka chocolate flavor?
Okay, I have a lot of favorite Milka chocolate flavors, just like the regular milk chocolate. I really like white chocolate. I like the Oreo or the cookies and cream, whatever it is. I like the just cookie where there's an actual cookie in the middle. I like yogurt. I think that's it. I think there's mousse au chocolat or something like that. That's really good. I like almost all of them, honestly, except for strawberry.
Hören Leute in deiner Generation noch Schlagermusik oder kann man heutzutage Schlagermusik nur noch ironisch genießen?
Okay, so the question is, do people in your generation still listen to Schlager music, or do they only listen to it ironically? Or is it only possible to listen to it ironically nowadays? Wow, this is a complicated question because Schlager music is such a German thing that it's really hard to explain that cultural concept. I think you could probably kind of explain it as the country music of Germany or the German-speaking world, but it's a lot worse than country music in my opinion. It's okay, so there's different subgenres of Schlager. There's like very old-fashioned traditional Schlager. There's like country Schlager where they're like in the mountains in their lederhosen. That's maybe something that you've seen before. There's more modern Schlager, but almost all of it usually has a very straight beat. The people who listen to it usually clap their hands all the time. They clap along to the beats, usually on the 1 instead of the 2 count. And the melodies are very catchy, very simple in a lot of cases, and the lyrics in a lot of cases are something that you've heard 1,000 times before.
Ultra cheesy.
It's not very complex music usually. So as you can probably tell from my description, I'm not a big fan of it, but young people actually have started to listen to it again recently. Like in the past few years, there's been like a new Schlager hype. They mostly listen to like more modern stuff, like Andreas Gabalier, Helene Fischer is very, very big. Are there any other names? Like, isn't there like a Markus something? I'm not sure. And they also mostly listen to it at certain occasions. I mean, some people listen to it all the time, of course, but for certain occasions like Oktoberfest or beer festivals, après-ski, which is a thing here in Europe, which is après-ski, so it's parties that take place after people ski, so like in chalets and cabins, and also on the island Mallorca, which is a Spanish island that a lot of Germans go to for vacation. That's also one of the spots where you'll hear that kind of music a lot. I personally don't listen to it at all.
Me neither.
You don't. Some of it you can, like some of it isn't too bad. Like I can take it if someone plays it around me, but some of it is really so bad that I can't even take it. If you don't know what Schlager is and you wanna check it out, just I think Google Schlager and maybe Helene Fischer or something like that, and you'll find out. Okay, and we'll show you the entrance of the city hall very quick because they actually have all the coat of arms of all the sister cities of Munich lined up in there, and Cincinnati, of course, is a sister city of Munich, so it's in there too. So I'll show you very quick. Okay, so here it is, and Cincinnati is in the upper right corner. Maybe I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, so we're at the Hofbräuhaus right now. It's right behind us. You can probably see it. Hofbräuhaus is how we say in Munich. And fun fact, we actually almost forgot to include this into our tour because as Munich natives, we don't really think of Hofbräuhaus as a significant spot in Munich that needs to be shown to tourists. So that speaks a lot to how important Hofbräuhaus is to Munich locals. Not at all. I think I've been inside maybe twice in my life. I think I've eaten there like once. So anyways, here it is. I know a lot of you guys probably wanted to see it. It's closed anyways because of the lockdown. And this is pretty much the tourist hotspot right here. There's lots of souvenir shops. There's a Hard Rock Cafe right next to it. So yeah. So we're now at Odeonsplatz, Odeon's Square, I think in English. So this is also a very important square in Munich City. It also has a lot of bad history to it. This is the place where the Hitler Putsch took place in 1923.
Yeah, 23.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
but it's still a really nice place with a really nice arch behind us, or it's actually called Feldherrnhalle, so they call it a hall. And there's music playing over there, so even though it's cold, it's still nice here.
Yeah.
So what's the next question?
Okay, German question again.
Okay.
Tipps für einen gelungenen Start als Auswanderer in den USA.
Okay, so do I have any tips for a successful start as an expat in the US? Let me think. So I think my first tip would be to be very, very open and to expect it to be shitty, possibly. Like, you never know if things are going to be great, and you never know if things are going to be as you expect them to be. They're probably not going to be as you expect them to be. So be prepared for disappointment. That's a very sad tip, but I think if you have a mindset that you're open to whatever's going to come, it's going to be a good start, and you just need to be proactive about finding friends. And if you have a job, I mean, it kind of depends on what your situation is. If you go there for college or alone or for work, then of course try to make friends with the people around you, with the students in your class, with your coworkers, and just try to get involved in social activities so that you're not alone. Get yourself an American bank account soon. Get yourself a credit card. Start building a credit score as soon as possible, and you'll need credit cards for that.
Win the green card lottery.
Win the green card lottery. And just be open for new culture. Sometimes people go abroad and then they're like, oh, this all sucks, it's way better at home. Just be open for things to be different and for people to handle things differently, and I think that's pretty much the key.
You left us with 2 cliffhangers from another week video. How do you play flunkyball? How do you play flunkyball or flunkyball?
Flunkyball.
And demonstrate the proper way to pour a beer.
Okay, maybe, I'm sorry about that, I don't even remember that, but maybe I can make another video, maybe in Cincinnati even, because right now it's really not the right time to play flunkyball, but maybe I can make a video with like Niklas and some of my other friends and show you guys in a separate video how to play flunkyball and how to pour a beer properly. I can do that at home and show you a clip now. Okay, first some cliche music. If you want to be a pro, rinse your beer glass with cold water first. Then you'll just need to tilt the beer mug while you pour the beer, like this, and make sure that the beer hits the side of the glass. Then you can let it sit for a few seconds and then pour the rest of the beer just straight on it, because unlike in the US, we do want some nice foam on our beer in Germany. This was a little too much foam actually, but you get the point. So now you should know how to pour beer properly as a Munich person, as a Bavarian person. We are now entering the English Garden, which is, I think, isn't it like
Used to be
the biggest inner city park or something like that in the world, in Europe, somewhere. But it's a very, very big park in the middle of Munich. I think it's definitely bigger than Central Park in New York. And as you can see, a lot of people are out here. Even though it's cold and it's not even sunny, a lot of people are out here going for a walk, going with their dogs, hanging out. And you can just imagine what it's like in the summer. So this is also a spot where in the summer a lot of people just bathe in this river, creek as well. This is the Schwabinger Bach, so the Schwabinger Creek. Doesn't really help you. But yeah, this is also a really nice place. So in the summer a lot of people come here.
In the summer.
It's really crowded. A lot of people bring a case of beer and put it on the side of the water to keep it cool and just hang out. We're now on top of the Monopteros, which is this pavilion thing, gazebo thing in the middle of the English Garden. And as you can see the Munich skyline a little bit in the background, and you can actually see the sun a little bit too. And there's lots and lots of kids on their sleds today, so it's kind of wild down there. But we made our way up here, and what's the next question?
Wird es Merch geben?
So is there gonna be merch? Yes. And I've been saying that since I think March. And I'm still working on it, but it'll be there soon. And I think I told you guys back in March actually that I'm thinking about maybe making beer mugs, or you know, the real Bierkrüge from the Munich Oktoberfest. And also those are the same that you can get at any Bavarian restaurant. And they're different than what you usually see in the US. So I actually ordered some of them from Munich, and those are definitely going to be one of my merch items. You're just like, and then we're gonna have t-shirts, we're gonna have maybe hoodies, we're gonna have stickers. What do you want? Maybe, okay, tell me, what do you want as merch? Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna have beer mugs, t-shirts, probably hoodies, stickers, maybe something like a bag or something, but let me know what you want in the comments below. Okay, let's slide down. Yeah. Okay, not literally. We don't have any sleds with us, but it's very slippery down here. Would be great.
Take your time and try to do what's right.
Okay, so we're at the Eisbach Welle now, which is a wave in the Eisbach here in Munich. There's surfers all year long, as you can see. It's really, really cold right now. And there's so many people here. They're all in line. They're all jumping up and down because they're really cold. But yeah, this is a very typical thing from Munich. That you'll see people with their surfboards in the winter, in the summer, on the subway, on their bikes. They're just riding around with their surfboards because they're on their way to this wave here.
Wie war es für dich, jetzt nach so langer Zeit wieder für eine gewisse Zeit nach Deutschland zurückzukommen? Hattest du den sogenannten Reverse Culture Shock?
Okay, so the question is, what was it like for you to be home after such a long time? Did you have the so-called reverse culture shock? It was definitely good to be home again because I hadn't been home in a year. So this had been the longest time that I hadn't been home. But I just talked about this to my family and also to my friends. I don't really have a reverse culture shock anymore. I used to in the beginning, like the first few times when I came home from the States, I was always like, wow, everything's so tiny here. And I was really shocked by how rude people were and stuff like that.
Definitely do that.
Yes, I think my family probably thought, ooh, now she hates Germany, which isn't really the case. It's just you have a culture shock when you go back home after being abroad for such a long time. Right now, I got used to switching, so I don't really feel like it's a shock anymore. I feel like I can be in Cincinnati today and Munich tomorrow, and I would just feel like it's normal in both cultures. Like it's just, you know, two different homes that I have now. So I kind of got used to the switching back and forth, but we did actually have an experience. Timo and I did this time. So I did have one little reverse culture shock experience when we tried to go to the grocery store. And we were in two different grocery stores because we tried to make Christmas cookies, and we were just, you know, getting the ingredients. And for two different reasons, employees in the stores yelled at us, like in a really, really rude way. Like one of them even used the du, so the informal address with me, which is really not okay. And it was just extremely rude. Like they actually yelled at us, and that would just not happen in the US at a grocery store. And we didn't even do anything. We did not do anything bad. So I think that was the most of a reverse culture shock that I had this time. Okay, we're back in the car now. That was it with today's Munich tour. We actually walked quite a bit. We're really exhausted, and I got myself a nice little chocolate Krapfen. Ooh, and I'm very excited to eat that now. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up and by subscribing to this channel for free. You also met my brother Timo, even though I didn't let him say a whole lot.
Next time maybe.
Do you want to say something for the end? A cool trip?
Cool trip, yeah.
Okay, so day trip, I guess.
Yeah, day trip.
Wasn't really a trip. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And thank you guys so much for 200,000 subscribers. That's a very, very big number that I prefer not to think about too much, because that really... Yeah, I don't think I would be able to sit in front of a camera anymore if I knew how many people are watching my videos. That's pretty insane. If you want to support me a little bit more, you can do that on Patreon and buy me a coffee. Links are all in the description box below. You can also find me on Instagram at underscores and on Facebook. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I hope we'll see you next time. Tschüss. Servus.